Guess what, everybody? I've had an epiphany. I understand contemporary eyebrows now. I've been a little overwhelmed by the level of darkness in contemporary fashion eyebrows. But here I am staring at videos of my big fat face and noticing that my eyebrows that look totally normal to me under normal circumstances suddenly look a little bit thin and transparent. And so I feel like the Instagrammable nature of women's lives now have led to this trend of the really defined dark brow. And I'm glad that I'm currently in the middle of recording things for you so that I can share this. So you're welcome. Let me pull up my notes. Lateral searching. Okay, so the North Carolina State video talks about broadening and narrowing a topic, but I want to talk about this in terms of lateral thinking about your research topic, looking side to side. Some of you may have done lateral thinking puzzles in school. So an example of that would be a man lies dead in a field with an unopened package. If he'd opened the package, it would have saved his life. What was in the package? The idea is you then solve the puzzle by asking a series of yes or no questions. For instance, was he starving and the package was food? Answer, no. Was he freezing and the package was clothing? No. Had he been bitten by a snake and the package was the antidote? No again. Did he try to open the package? Yes. Would this be more fun to do in class when you could actually ask the questions? Yes, it would. Am I going to just spoil the answer for you? Also, yes. Sorry. So, solving this puzzle requires you to forego your straightforward thinking about what a life-saving package could be and start thinking around corners. And so now we're going to talk about how to do the same thing with your research. So in class, we've already talked about how you're unlikely to find any scholarly articles on your particular topic, partly because your topics in this class are so specific and partly because they're so cutting edge. But this is a feature, not a bug. Think about it. If you found the perfect article that talked about everything that you wanted to talk about and hit all of the same points, what would there be for you to do? You'd just be writing a book report. So like with Jenny in the North Carolina State video and my additions to it, you now have an opportunity to say brand new things. There's a gap in the scholarship that you get to step into. Okay, so let's take a hypothetical paper topic. Let's say somebody wants to write about the Fitspiration movement on Instagram. And by Fitspiration movement, I mean those accounts that are intended to inspire people to become more physically fit. But let's say that there's no research that's specifically on that. What is such a person to do? There are two main approaches that I would recommend. If the topic is Fitspiration and Instagram, then the approaches are Fitspiration and blank and Instagram. So first, Fitspiration and blank. See if there's scholarship on the Fitspiration community on another platform, like maybe YouTube. You can then use your paper to say, these people have researched Fitspiration on YouTube and found X, Y, and Z. Some things hold true on Instagram, but here are the interesting things that are different between the two. Or you could look at the history of fitness influencers online or offline and use your paper to talk about how what's going on Instagram fits into that history. How is this different from aerobic workout videos from the 80s, for instance? Or you could look at the ways that Fitspiration became a substitute for Thinspiration after people started realizing that Thinspiration was tangled up in the pro-eating disorder community. Lots of options. Also lots of options with number 2, blank and Instagram. So you can see if there's scholarship on other adjacent communities or phenomena on Instagram itself. More general body image stuff, eating disorder stuff, things about filters or self-esteem or influencer culture or athleisure wear marketing, all of these things that aren't directly tied to Thinspiration on Instagram, but might give us insight into other adjacent Instagram cultures. Or even not that adjacent. What might an article on Instagram Craftspiration have to offer a paper on Fitspiration? How are these two things similar or different? What lines could you draw between them? This isn't about finding synonyms that might increase your search results, although that's a lot of what people tend to talk about when they talk about widening your searches. This is about thinking about coming in from an oblique angle and thinking about what other conversations might be saying things that would apply to your research too. What are the parachutes that you're not thinking of, right? When I was brainstorming and prepping this little talk, I came up with so many cool project ideas having to do with this Fitspiration thing, and I don't even care about that. I believe that for each one of your topics, there are many fruitful, interesting ideas and directions that you can take, and it's just a matter of picking which one is going to work the best for you, what you're the most interested in pursuing, and after you do your post in this forum, I will come through and I will comment on what you've written, and we can hopefully arrive at something that'll be useful for everybody. I also want to say that if you get into your research and you end up kind of taking a turn from where you thought it was going to go, you pivot, right? You say if you were working on Thinspiration and Fitspiration, maybe you ended up more interested in using that as a way to talk about whether censoring language is actually an effective way of addressing problematic content on social media platforms. Maybe you didn't do your cultural conversations paper on anything even close to that. That's okay. Your cultural conversations paper does not have to be the same as what you do for your final paper. As long as your final paper has both scholarly research and original online research that you did yourself, I'm totally happy.